to A Date with the King. Today's episode, I'm going to talk about how God has transformed my life from expectation upon myself when I pray to expecting from Him, expecting to see the good in Him in any situation that I'm praying about, and learning how to pray between the two verses of Acts 37 and 38 on the day of Pentecost. If you get a chance to take a look at that chapter in that particular, those two verses, I think it would really give you some insight in terms of what God is saying for us to be able to learn to partner with who He is, as opposed to trying to pray a certain way to see a certain outcome, giving Him the opportunity to bring about the outcome that He chooses. And this is the two verses that I live between. I don't go outside of these two verses, and I can just tell you that when I made that decision and that discovery, life became sweet. This episode is about considering the possibilities of the King is waiting to have a date with you. I was a person who was very much involved in prayer ministries at our local church, Bible studies with ladies, Bible teaching, Sunday school teaching classes, and I was known at that time in my life as the person, one of the people that they would ask to pray for various situations and people in our congregation. And this went on several years. I'm remembering a time when our church experienced a very low time where people were becoming ill and even so much in dying. In this particular time frame, I prayed. I believe that God led me and touched my heart to pray for certain people, but they died. And this was extremely difficult for me in my heart, because at that time, I didn't understand why didn't God bring healing to these people's bodies. So much trauma, so much pain, and these people all died. Everyone, I want to say maybe 4 people that we were praying for at that time, did not receive their healing on earth. This left me very frustrated and very fearful. I noticed fear rising up inside of my heart. I was feeling very worn out. I didn't feel much like a prayer warrior. In fact, I got to a place where I did not want to pray because I was afraid that if I prayed, the very opposite would happen or the same thing would happen. I even allowed myself to get to a place where if I went to another church and I saw people dying, I took upon myself that maybe I was there because I was there and I was praying, things went wrong. I know that that is totally a lie, but that's where I was at that particular time. Now, fast forward to 2005. I was at another prayer meeting and I received a prophecy. And that prophecy was given to me, and it said the King wanted to have a date with me. Now, I kind of understood what that meant, but I wasn't quite clear. But as time went by, I started to realize that God wanted to sit down with me. Now, I spent time with the Lord every morning, but that really wasn't enough. I was a wife, a homeschooling mom, a working mom, and I didn't have lots of time. So, in all honesty, I did not take on that prophecy into my heart for another 3 years. And it was out of a place of desperation that I actually began to make space for the Lord outside of the mornings that I spent talking with Him. So what I did was I began to take every 6 weeks, I'd plan a weekend away where I would go and spend time with the Lord and just learn to be. In that space, that's exactly what happened. I learned to abide. I knew nothing about abiding. I knew about coming to the Lord, thanking Him and being grateful for things, but I knew nothing of what it meant to just be in His presence and just allow Him to love on me and to heal me and to speak to me. Many times I would go and sit and not know what to do. I quickly found out that He was not expecting me to pray. He wasn't expecting anything from me. It was a refreshing time. What I learned in this time was that He wasn't expecting anything from me, and I learned that I had put all these expectations upon myself as opposed to putting expectation upon God to answer prayers the way He chose. Now, I live between these two verses, and it's out of Acts 37 and 38. You might want to take a look at those and read that particular verse. It's all about the Pentecost. Well, anyways, what it means is that the first question was, what does this mean? And how can I partner with you, God, in this? So now I have learned, instead of praying out of a need and expecting God to answer a certain way, my first words are, Lord, what does this mean for me? And how can I partner with you to see what you want to see happen here? And I live between these two verses, and I've found much freedom here. I've found rest and peace, and God's answering the prayer the way He chose to answer the prayer. I'd like to offer an invitation to you. Maybe you would like to explore what it means to removing expectation off of yourself and instead expect the goodness of God, to see His goodness in whatever it is that you're praying for. Remember, the King would like to have a date with you.